What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. So today we're covering what happened at EUIC and talking about what you should be expecting at Orlando / playing. So if you want to learn about this stuff, today the video is for you. It's gonna be kind of a quick video, just kind of quick breakdown. I know a lot of people already have access to this, but I just want to kind of talk about it and kind of get my perspective on things and see what y'all think. And if you have any input, leave it down below. Because Orlando is this weekend, and I think it's going to be bigger than what EUIC was, even though EUIC had 2595 masters. It's looking like Orlando has over 2,600 masters so far. If I'm incorrect, just let me know. But I know their spot's still open, and they're not capped yet. So that's insane. I don't know how big Orlando is going to be. But let's start talking about day one decks from EUIC. So we have 593 decks that are Charizard EX. We have 330 decks that are Chin Pao. 235 decks that are Archeops Lugia V-Star. And then we have Arceus Giratina, which is 207. Iron Hands, Iron Crown, 176. And 164 is Lost Zone Giratina V-Star. So, yeah, Charizard, it was the best deck. It still probably is the best deck. The question is, what happens going forward, right? That's the big deal here. So this is day one. And let's look at day two and see kind of the meta changes. And you're going to notice it stays the same. Charizard, Chin Pao, both are 1-2, right? You got 593, you got a 52. Now, the percentage conversion rate's not that great with Charizard, though. It goes 22 to 18, while Chin Pao actually goes to 12 to 14, which, if you look at things, this probably means that it has like a better Charizard matchup than what people are expecting, just because it does increase, and Charizard's the biggest deck in the room, so it does increase here. Lugia stays about the same, 9% to 9%, so it's pretty much chilling. Iron Hands actually goes up a lot, so he goes to, no, it actually goes down. Ooh, it goes down. Ooh, I'm way off. I apologize, guys. It actually goes down. It switches on here, and that's what confuses me. The thing here from day one to day two is Arceus Giratina goes from 4th spot at 7.9% to 6.5. So that's actually really bad. It shows that Arceus Giratina, hey, it doesn't have a really good conversion rate. So if I was going to Orlando, I would not play an Arceus Giratina. I don't think the conversion rate's that great on it. It actually dropped down to only 18 decks, while day one had 207. So yeah, that's not that good, especially because they probably hit a bunch of Charizards, and the matchup's probably not as easy as it seems. I know a lot of people just say, just put Iron Leaves in it, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think it's that very good, and against Chin Pao, I think it's a bad matchup too. So I think with those two things, you don't play Arceus Giratina this weekend. Probably not the best deck. I imagine Charizard will still be played more. Iron Hands goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth spot to now the 4th place spot is 25. It's 25 decks, 9%, and that makes me think that it has a better Charizard matchup than what people are thinking. I think it has a fine Charizard matchup, especially if Charizard doesn't get the explosive turn 2. Like, you have turn 1 that you can swing automatically because, you want to get first, second, whatever. And then you get swing before Charizard does. If Charizard doesn't have the rare candy Charizard turn 2, you can then go for an AP very much, go down to 3 price cards, and then all you have to knock out is Pidgeot and take the last 3 price cards. If they're smart, they won't play down Pidgeot, of course. So that's another thing to consider. But I think this is probably a good matchup for you. I think a Charizard is not as bad as it seems. And we'll talk about that more later when we go over the breakdown between the different decks. And also Giratina is probably the shocking kind of deck. It goes from 6 to 9%. So it's like the only one besides Chin Pao that actually goes up. And it goes up by 3%. So that's a pretty good percentage. Chin Pao actually goes, Chin Pao goes up and that goes up. So that's the only 2 decks that go up, right? Because Lugia stays about the same. We won't count that as going up. Iron Hands EX does go up, so that one goes up by 2 point something. But also Giratina goes up by 3. So this also shows it might have a good, might have a good Charizard matchup. Now this deck is hard to play, so this would be another deck that I couldn't play, and I imagine the majority of the population wouldn't want to play this deck either. To a 9-round tournament, to then play in like 6 rounds into 3 rounds, right? That's so many decks that you have to play, and I feel like if you're watching this video, you shouldn't be considering this deck. I feel like it should be another deck. Unless you just really, really love Lost Zone Giratina and you played it a million times. It's same with Arceus. If you play like a million times and you think you're really really confident in it, then sure, play it. But I would definitely immediately cancel these 2 out. I don't think these 2 decks I would play, especially, for so many rounds as it is, especially with Lost Zone Giratina and stuff like that. If I was, my pick would probably like this one right here, just because it seems like it's definitely, the easier one. Not easier, but, more simple brain to play. We kind of see this from Maridon. Like, Maridon is a quote unquote easy deck to play, but easy is sometimes good. You don't have that many decisions to make, and like JW said, like you just win games, and then you just go to game one and you win, and like sometimes you just win a game because you're Iron Hands, Iron Crown, right? You just take a quick knockout, and you basically have to play a best of like two, right? Because you can get a quick knockout and like make your opponent it has a bad setup. So that's the cool thing about Iron Hands, Iron Crown. I think I would play this deck just because of the consistency factor, but that's just me. But we start looking at EUIC. We look at the top cut. We have 8 spots, right? The things to note out is we have 2 Charizard Pidgeot and 2 Iron Hands. So even though Iron Hands was number 4, it still was the second biggest in top 8, right? So that's a pretty big deal. Sorry, this screen is what we'll look at. So that's a pretty big deal to me. That even though it was top 8, right? I mean, number 4, it has 2 in top 8, which is great. Charizard Pidgeot, of course, has 2 in there. And on the side of that, its next one is 13. And you actually have another future Iron Hands before that. So it makes me think that this deck does have a better matchup than what people are thinking. So I would highly consider playing future Iron Hands this weekend if I was going. Just that's what I would put my 2 cents in. We have a control and another control deck, 2 totally different things. We have iCaterpie and Bert playing 2 different types of control. And then we have 1 Giratina and 1 Roaring Moon to Dunsparce. Now, Roaring Moon to Dunsparce, I think it might be the sleeper pick to play this weekend. So let's look at that real quick. I think this could be a deck that you could play this weekend. Let's go open this image real quick. And it's just like you use it to Dunsparce, draw through your deck. Roaring Moon X takes a quick big knockouts. Roaring Moon can soften your baby Pokemon attacks, stuff like that. And I think this deck covers a lot of ground and a lot of different variances, and I think that's why the deck's so strong. And so, like, this might be the deck I would consider playing. I haven't played it yet, so I can't really speak for myself. But I really did like Roaring Moon a lot when I played it at whatever regional it was, North Carolina or Knoxville. I can't remember which one it was. And it was really solid. It just had a bad Charizard matchup because of the Radiantzard, but now you have Roaring Moon, which can handle the Radiantzard, so that's really nice. So I think that does help fix things, right? Because once you get so many Pokemon in the discard pile, you can just take some knockouts of Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon EX is just like, quick knockouts, and you just knock out anything and do 220 and stuff like that, so that's really cool. The Dunsparce can help you draw 3 cards every single turn, kind of guarantee you like the Dark Patch or the Professor Sadas and stuff like that. So it's a really cool deck. I haven't played it yet, but it could be a sleeper pick that people could play this weekend. There was none in Day 2 and Day 1 graphic at all. So it's cool that we do see one of top 8. So that's pretty much a sleeper pick that came in here. I think the next sleeper pick is actually in 9th place. I think Fabian right here. I think if I was good at Gardevoir, I would definitely look at this deck a lot. Once again, we're looking at a deck that didn't show up at the graphic at all, right? It did show up at the graphic at all, but it did really well. It actually bubbled out. I don't think it bubbled out. I think it just unfortunately just didn't make it. I think 9 through 14 or something like that. I think it was a clear cut. I don't have the standings or anything like that, but I think it was a clear cut. But unfortunately, their resistance must be like really busted, and that's why they're in 9th place. So I really, really consider Gardevoir if I knew how to play Gardevoir. And we're looking at it, it does play like the Screamtail. It plays the Guardy, but now plays the Drifloon with the Hero's Cape and Bravely Charm and Luxurious Cape. So you have all these Pokemon that can like do a ton of damage. They're not a 2-price Pokemon. And now, you can keep your refinements online longer, which is great. You just draw through your deck, and you have other attackers instead of the Gardevoir. So Curly can just keep drawing cards over and over again. So this is a really cool deck, a really cool idea. Only playing the basic Psych Energies, and that's all you really need. You don't need the other energy because you're not really... I mean, you're going to be behind on price cards, but I think the other one only works like Evolutions or something. Or I can't remember exactly what the context of it, but... this is probably 100% better because you want to be able to Psychic Embrace to do the damage, which is a big deal here. You can't Psychic Embrace with the other card. That's what I was trying to say. And yeah, it seems like a really cool deck. You have Evolution to get your Curlius out pretty quickly. And yeah, I mean, if you're a Gardevoir fan, I think this might be a sleeper pick once again. Because it seems like it has a good Charizard matchup because it did outwin all the Charizards. The last one is going to be Ancient Box. Now, we could cover this Ancient Box right here. Right, we could cover this one, but there's another list I would have covered instead. And it looks pretty close. It looks pretty similar. It's actually this list. I could try to debate what looks different. The energies are a little bit different. The play amount of Pokestops. Maybe it's this. It looks pretty similar. I am not gonna lie to y'all. It looks pretty similar. it looks like the energy counts are just a little bit different. So you take your pick, but we're gonna cover this one just because this is Gabriel's list, Gabriel and Vinny's list. Now Vinny unfortunately got 75th, but Gabriel did win in the senior division. And I think this deck has a lot of potential. It's really strong. It's all non-basic Pokemon. We saw the Dunsparce list. It played EX or not basic, sorry, one price Pokemon. So this could be really good. It's got the Koraidon, do amount of damage for each Pokemon in play. So like while you're taking your time, you set up in a minute to set up, you could go for the Koraidon. Flight Rain's cool to put in the Axe spot against like Lost Box decks, stuff like that. And the Roaring Moon's your in-game attacker kind of thing. And basically you're just trying to get a bunch of Pokemon in the discard pile and just swing with the Roaring Moon with that Vengeance Fletching. So it could be a really good pick. I think this one is actually really, really strong. We saw one almost making a top 8, right? Just barely missing out. And we saw, Ancient Box deck making top 8. I don't know which is better, the Dunsparce or the Ancient Box deck. But that could be what I don't know which one to look into. Then outside of that, there's other decks as well. Like we have Pedro playing Lost on Box, Charizard Pidgeot, of course, Giratina, Future Hands, blah, blah, blah. But there's another Piper playing Gardevoir. There's another Gardevoir right there, another Gardevoir right here. So a bunch of Gardevoirs just barely didn't make cut. But if I was going this weekend and now look at top 16, heck, even top 24, we'll go 32. We'll be the real thing. Top 32, right? There's only one Lugia. So if I was going this weekend, I wouldn't play Lugia. So now you're left with Iron Hands, Chien-Pao, and Charizard. Those are the 3 decks. I don't know. Charizard's definitely the BDIF. Don't get me wrong. But it won because Tord is the best player in the game right now. And there's only one other one in cut. So I don't know if Charizard's actually it is the best deck, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's something I play this weekend. So I'd cancel that one just because I'd be too scared to play it. And outside of that, we have Iron Hands with Chien-Pao. Once again, I wouldn't play I'd be scared to play a Stage 2 deck. And so I would probably just play Iron Hands, Iron Crown EX, or one of the Ancient Box decks. If I was going this weekend, that'd be the 2 picks that I would play. But I wouldn't surprise me if Gardevoir would end up winning this weekend. It just seems so strong. It's always had a good Charizard matchup. And I think it has okay matchups because everything else. I think your worst matchup is probably Future Iron Hands, just because they can take 2 price cards off of you pretty quickly. So that could be kind of concerning. So that's a big deal there. But yeah, if I was going this weekend, I think I'd play Future Box. I think definitely Future Box definitely seems like the best deck to me. I don't know exactly what I'll play, what version, blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of different ones out there. You can look at these 2 real quick. Open his image. This one play the 2 Psychic. Mew's pretty common. This one play no Trekking Shoes, just kind of more consistent. Erica's Invitation is pretty cool. But 2 Psychic, so you can attack with the Miraidon if you want to. I don't think you're attacking with the Iron Crown EX. That'd be pretty insane. Here's the other list. This one played 1 Psychic. It played a Crisis Punch. My goodness. You do 280 damage. You only use attack when your opponent has exactly 1 prize card remaining. So that could be a really good in-gamer if you have 3 energies attached to your Miraidon. It doesn't have to be like lightning Psychic. It'd just be like 3 lightnings. So that could be really cool. This one's actually pretty nifty. I play 3 counter catchers, and I think what this deck's kind of aiming for is like you just attack on Miraidon over and over again, then eventually take a knockout, then you counter catcher who you want up to the X spot and go for an MP very much. So maybe that's what they're trying to do here. But a very cool, unique version of this deck. So we have 2 different versions of the Future Box, and then we have another one right here. Let's click this one, open his image. This one playing Grass with the Iron Leaves to help out the Charizard matchup. So if you think the Charizard matchup is bad, you can still play the Grass energies because you get early game with Miraidon. Go for the Iron Hands, and then you could take a knockout with Iron Leaves or something. So that's actually a pretty cool inclusion. And then everything's searchable with the Techno Radar except for the Mew EX. This list actually doesn't play any Nest Ball. I didn't check the other ones, but yeah, I don't know how you get the Mew. I guess you're just drawn to it, whatever. But yeah, I think Iron Hands is a really, really strong deck. I think it's really good. So let's look at Charizard Pidgeot because this is going to be the deck that played the most this weekend. And you can see, when you look at win percentage, unfortunately, like it does supposedly beat Future Hands most of the time. It beats the 61%. Chien-Pao, you're barely beating, so it shows that Chien-Pao is probably like a better matchup. Lugia, you're actually not winning as much. You're only winning 44% of the times. So like Lugia looks like a good matchup, but then like it probably can't handle other matches, and that's why it probably lose. Like, yeah, you could play like Baby Machino, stuff like that. But a lot of decks play like non-rule box Pokemon, and so that's why it hurts it. Next up is Guaranteed Loss on Box, which it mean you're losing 34% of times, and I imagine that will probably be true. But I think it comes down to like who's playing what deck and stuff like that, and that kind of thing. That can be another big thing. Snorlax stalled 31%, but this is going to drastically change now since Tord played, the double Turo with the Team Yell's cheer. So like this is going to be like pretty bad now. It's going to be a pretty bad matchup because those lists are going to be kind of playing that. Now Gardevoir, this is the one I want to talk about probably the most. Arceus Guillotine is 44, sure, but I don't think the match was as bad as it shows. Gardevoir, 45%, so it's actually swinging Gardevoir's favor. So yeah, I think Gardevoir might be a good play. Box 59%. Now I think this is probably gonna be even a worse matchup too because now Tord plays, the two plays the no. Did Tord play the Turo? Did he play Turo? I can't remember now. I don't think he played Toro actually. So this matchup, oh yeah, he did play Turo. Yeah, he played two Turo. Duh, we just literally talked about two Turo for Snorlax. What are you talking about, Josh? So this matchup gets like way worse as well too because you're trying to two-shot people with the Ancient Box, and now you can just Turo the Team Yo share. So that matchup gets way worse, stuff like that. So even Pidgeot Control, that matchup gets way worse. So I expect. Future Box 62%. So it's showing that Future Box not a good matchup, unfortunately. So I mean, if you're good at Giratina, play it, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. I think if you're going to play a deck that I wouldn't recommend, but you should be playing if you know how to, it's Gardevoir. I think it's probably a good deck. I think that's what you should be playing this weekend. And you start looking at the matchups, like, and this is what it's kind of bad for, right? Here, look at Archeops you're beating. But you got to remember, I think like 25 to 30% of the meta is going to be Charizard EX. I think it's going to be a bunch. I think it's going to be more than 593, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people play Charizard. But if you're going this weekend, what would you play? You don't have to tell me if you are going this weekend. But yeah, I think Future Hands is a deck I definitely play. It just seems so much fun, and you don't have to do a lot of thinking, and you just take quick knockouts, and you just beat decks that can't get set up. So if I was going this weekend, I'll play Future Hands, but I'm not going this weekend, so take it as what you want. I haven't tested as much, but that's just my 2 cents. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. There's a quick breakdown. Oh, there's 16 plays with a Roaring Moon to Dunsparce. Ooh, 2 out of 16 with Roaring Moon Dunsparce, which is almost the same meta share as Charizard Pidgeot, which had 3. 1, 2, and 3. So that is a fact right there. That is a fact. So maybe this is better. Maybe this deck's better than what we think it is. Just putting that out there. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I think we're going to have a shaky meta this weekend. I think it's going to totally change. I don't think Charizard's going to win. I'd be very, very surprised. But anything can happen. Charizard is still the best deck. So yeah, see you this weekend. Get on stream. I'll watch you and cheer you on. And see you tomorrow. Alrighty. Bye.